Deion Sanders, in a press conference yesterday, I believe it was, made it clear, hey, listen, there's an article out there that I don't do in-home visits, and then he proceeded to tell you why he doesn't do in-home visits. I kind of thought it would be a thing where he addressed that reporter and said, no, I do in-home visits, but that was not the case. So we got some thoughts on this. Make sure you are subscribed. If you are a college football junkie, welcome home. Ball and only ball all year round. We want y'all a part of this. We want y'all a part of this community, which is what this is. Lock it in. We have a good time. We appreciate you so much for being subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. So as I was saying, Deion Sanders addressed essentially that he does not do in-home visits when it comes to recruits. So to reset the table here, when you are being recruited as a high school player, it is common practice for during different parts of the calendar year, your coach, or sometimes your recruiting coach, it could be a head coach, will come and visit you where you live, come meet the family, have a meal, like just overall a pretty feel-good thing. It's probably going to be a couple hours of your time if you're a coach. Good news, the madness is here. Need to sneak in those tournament games while at work? Prime Video has you covered. Watch every game live on your phone, on your laptop, or relax and watch at home on Prime Video with a subscription. Prime Video gives you choices to add on channels like Paramount Plus and Max, both featuring March Madness tournament games all in one place. It's March, it's madness, stream it all on Prime Video. It's pretty common, is what I want to make sure we say here. It is pretty much something every single coach in college football does. I played at the FCS level. Coaches came and sat down with my family. We had Chick-fil-A. We had a good time. But the issue I have with this is multifaceted. But I want to start with what Deion Sanders said is parents don't want me to come to their house. They want to come and see my house. Pretty much saying we want people to come to our campus, see Boulder, see how awesome it is, as if those are interchangeable. Now, never mind the fact that Colorado was number 66 in the On3 industry team recruiting rankings when it came to what they did in 2024, signed 8 recruits. I disagree with this idea wholeheartedly, okay? And we'll get to that in a second. But I want to go to the reasons as to why Deion Sanders said he doesn't do in-home visits. And the first is he says, I'm going to upset other coaches if I don't come by their school, was essentially the logic he used. The example was if I go to IMG, I see a kid there, there's going to be schools down the road that are upset that I didn't go to see them. It's not the point, right? Like that's the point isn't that you go to a school and then hurt another high school coach's feelings. The point is that you go and acquire top talent and you make these kids feel like a priority that you want them to come and play for you at Colorado. The goal isn't to visit every school, but just so we're on the same page here, if you were to go 30 minutes down the road and see another school, if you were to go see 4 or 5 schools in the same day, that's what most coaches in America do. It's not about, protecting a coach's feelings, but when it comes to talent acquisition, yeah, you should do everything in your power to go and see as many kids as possible to get as many high schools as you can. It's not a matter of, I'm worried I'm going to hurt their feelings, so it's going to hurt this kid's relationship with me. The kid's making the decision, not the coach. And I understand the thought that you want to keep relational capital with these different coaches, but to act like it's somehow a thing where, I can't see all the schools, so I don't want to go to any of the schools. Come on now. Come on, let's be straight up here. Let's be transparent. I don't think that's a valid reason. It's my opinion. I'm not Deion Sanders. I'm not a FBS football coach, but that's how I feel about it, and that's what I've seen other coaches do as well. The other part of this, he says, I can't do that. I can't go to other places because I'm Coach Prime. Like essentially saying because of my status as a coach, because of my visibility, my public figure that I am, I can't go and meet all these other coaches and go to all these places because, I'm me. And I think I understand the thought behind that. I think I understand the reasoning that he's coming from there, but I just wholeheartedly disagree. In fact, I would say, no, you should go to those coaches. You should go to those schools because you are the icon that you are. Because kids do turn on the TV and see you as a lead segment on SportsCenter like 6 days out of the week. That's a reason to go and visit these schools. The thing with Deion Sanders not going to these schools, I think he's minimizing one of his greatest assets, which is his visibility. Like if you get Deion Sanders in school and buzz gets around the campus that, hey, Coach Prime went and saw Jimmy 5-star today. That's massive. I mean, if you're Jimmy 5-star, you are the man on campus because Deion Sanders came and pulled you out of English class to talk to you about coming and playing for Colorado. Or he went to your house. Like that's a whole other topic that I think needs to be addressed. The other part of this is he says, they don't want me coming by. They want to come see me. it's not either or, right? Like, it's not like if I come and see you in your house, you can't come and visit me officially. Like those things somehow are interchangeable, or like it's one or the other. It's not either or. It is both and. It is, I'm going to come see you at your house. I'm going to come see you when you go to your games. I am going to have you come see us officially. Like, all those things work together. Why? Because recruiting at the end of the day is what? A relational game. Now, I can already hear the comment section saying, it's about NIL these days. Hey, it's all about these kids getting a bag. I'm not going to lie to you and say I don't think that's a massive part of recruiting today. But at the end of the day, if I got one school paying me X and the other school matching it, who am I going to go to? The coach that I trust more, the coach that I have a better relationship with. That still is a massive part of recruiting, contrary to popular belief. And for Deion Sanders to not foster those relationships by going and meeting the family in house, by sitting down and having a meal, and saying they don't want him to come by, of course they want you to come by. You're Deion Sanders. You're Deion Sanders. You don't think if you were asked if you could go by, Johnny Five Star's house and have a meal with his family, they would say, Deion, we don't want you to come by. We don't want you to come by. We're embarrassed of how we're living right now. That's not reality. It's just not. And I'm speaking a little bit intensely here, but I truly believe that is just not the case. He also says we only target portal guys, and use that as a reason for, well, how many portal guys do you know that have in-home visits? Caleb Downs, when he jumped in the portal, Ohio State flew to Georgia to sit down with him and his family. You don't think that had an impact with him going to Ohio State? You don't think that helped the relational capital that made the Downs family feel more comfortable about sending their kid to go play in a part of the country where they're not at currently? Of course it did. So to say that just because it's transfer portal guys, we don't go in home, I'm not saying that it's not as common as I think it isn't quite as common to go and have in-home visits with portal guys. But again, it's just totally excusing this massive part of recruiting, which is, again, relationships. And I'm not saying he can't develop those on campus, but I think you can do a more intentional job developing those in person. Again, the tragedy here is Deion Sanders is minimizing his greatest asset, which is his personality, which is his visibility. Being able to have these kids see him in their school, in their home, like that's a massive, massive advantage. And the fact that he's not doing that, it opens him and his staff up to negative recruiting. If I'm a head coach, and I'm someone who, quite frankly, doesn't believe in negative recruiting. But if I walk into your living room and I say, okay, it's between us and who? And you say, okay, I'm down to you in Colorado. You say, okay, well, when did Coach Prime come and see you? Say, he didn't. Why not? Probably some awkward silence. Maybe it's something like, well, he doesn't really do that. Well, I'm here. I'm sitting down with mom and dad. I'm sitting down with you and your brothers and sisters. I'm here having a meal with you. I'm breaking bread with you. Who do you want to trust? Who do you want to be your head coach when it comes time for you to make a decision on the next 4 years of your life to develop as a human being? The guy who's sitting down with you or the guy who doesn't do in-home visits? If the people who are successful in your field routinely do something and have a method of doing something, you should probably follow suit. And if Deion Sanders was winning national championships, or if they had just knocked it out of the park year one at Colorado and had a top 10 recruiting class, you would not hear a word out of me. In fact, I'd say the opposite. Deion Sanders is doing something different that is much better than everybody else in the country. But the fact that you had the number 66 class in the country, signed less than 10 recruits, when there is a clear need for more personnel on Colorado's roster, and I understand they went to work in the portal, so I'm not excusing that. Like, if Nick Saban's going in home, if Kirby Smart's going in home, everybody and their mama who is successful on the recruiting trail is going in home, what should you do? Should go in home. If Tom Brady's throwing during the offseason 50 routes a day, you should probably go throw 50 routes a day if you want to be an NFL quarterback. If Tiger Woods is taking extra putts on the green, you should probably go take extra putts on the green if you want to be a great golfer. You see what I'm saying here? If the greats are doing something, we should probably follow that method as closely as we can until we figure out a better way to do things. And by nature of these small sample size, but a result nonetheless, I think that there needs to be a readdressing of how they're doing things in Boulder. So, again, it's Deion Sanders' program. I respect that he wants to do it his way. I don't pretend to know every single extra factor that comes with his job, but to say that people don't want him coming to their house, I think that is a little bit of a, I think we're telling a story. So I'll say that, and I'll leave it at that. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.